Hey everyone, I'm Harmon from Misfit Adventure, and we're going to cover loading up rpgmakermz for the first time. Now, rpgmakermz is the latest standalone RPG Maker. There is a RPG Maker Unite, and I believe there's an Action Game Maker that both came out, but this is the standalone version one. So the link for where to find this is in the description. You can either get it on Steam or just, the regular desktop app. To note, though, if you are using a Mac, you have to go through Steam to use this. So, when we do, let's just go ahead and File. We're going to open our new project. I don't know, let's just do Test Project. As we can see, this is going to be standard for every time you open it. So RPG Maker does have a set amount of files that are for free, including music and art that are available to use. So you'll always see what it's copying over is just all the files in the system. Now, if we open with everything with this main character in a blank field, this button up here on the top right that says Playtest is going to be the basis for how we make sure our whole game works. So we can see here we just have a blank nothing screen with 4 players running around. There's no ability to go anywhere, and there's nowhere to move. So that's the canvas we are working with when we start our game. So let's go in and look at all of these really for the first time. So let's navigate up here. So File simply opens and saves the project. Where? Well, the default will be in your Documents folder. So I'm not going to go into mine, but if I were to hit the file system and find Documents, there's a rmmz folder. That is where this exists for us. And then from here, our edits just let us do editing in here. Mode, we can switch between map or event. Draw is how we draw out our map. Layer, scale, all our tools, the game, the playtest option, and then any kind of help. These are really good for just general help or looking into what the community posts. Now this button here does almost exactly the same thing as all these do. So this saves our game. This lets us cut or edit. This lets us switch between the event and map viewer. So you might be wondering why you can't do our editing thing. Once I hit this, as we can see it says map. I've clicked on it. Now I can add in a whole bunch of stuff. And then I can also zero that out. So tile sets A, which is what this means down here, lets us draw in certain things that we can use in addition, or that we can use to make the game feel a little bit more alive. So I don't know, let's just add some trees here. I'm on the pencil setting right here, but I can just go about making this random forest, or if I want, I could switch to a rectangle, and then bam. Or if I want to add some real effect, I can add this circle. I could just go back to green and try and paint everything. And bam, I've taken them out. Let's go ahead and add them back in. All right, this map clearly doesn't make much sense, but you get the point. It's just a test project, so play around with that. Tile set B allows us to add in some more set pieces. Oh, sorry, you have to make sure you pencil it in if you do that. And when we hit this blank tile up top, we can just erase our mistakes. Now, none of these castles are, you don't have the ability to enter any of these right now. So just be aware of that as it stands. And then C is even more sci-fi looking at. R sets a region note, so there are ways to activate certain things that happen based on where the player is walking and what region they're in. We'll cover those in later videos. It's a little bit more advanced than the intro. So we've covered the map. Let's go ahead and get rid of at least these castles right now, because I want to cover what the event viewer is. So the event lets us actually see something. So this is how our players move. So I'm in here right now. I'm going to click into this random thing. And then this menu appears. So let's call this guy NPC. And we're going to give them an image. So we're just going to click into this thing that says here. I don't know. Let's look at people 1. Click on this upper gentleman right here. Okay. Now, this is how we interact with anything we're going to want to interact with in RPG Maker. So I'm going to click into the content section, and I'm going to double click. This event commands comes in, and I'm going to go to number 1. Let's go down here to show text. So for showing text, we can simply put find it. We said people 1. Here he is. Okay. So as we click in, just know that this line right here is going to put the cutoff line for the window. And as we hold it up here, we have text to display and all these kind of characters. So let's just go into it. You must step on the town to transfer. Now, I'm going to do this slash character and an exclamation point. That way, the dialog box will only end after I've hit the enter button. All right, we're going to set the priority same as characters, so the characters can't literally just walk right over them. And then for the trigger being the action button. Okay, we from there have created our first event. Now, let's do one more thing where I'm going to click below this guy and I'm going to right click. So here we see the quick event creation. Let's do a transfer. Now it's going to say map here and it's going to retain. So we don't have any other maps at this point. So for this quick event creation, it's not actually going to work. So let's go ahead and delete that. But we can go in and create it. Let's go in and right click on this test project, right click and see load sample map. I don't know, let's this foresty town. And hit OK. So look, there's going to be a lot here, but don't worry. Just know that we can also create a new map by doing new, and then we can set all this stuff up between the different tile sets. But let's not do that right now. Let's just look at Forest Town. If I click on it and I hit edit, we can see it's a tile set 2 outside with a ground and battle back established. Now, why do we do this? Let's go because we're going to do exactly what our event is telling us to do. Nope, sorry. Quick event creation transfer. Now, in this location button, I can just click into here. I don't know, click right here for the character to show up. Hit OK. We don't want them to necessarily retain their direction, so let's just say they're always going to be facing up, and hit OK. So now if the player just steps on here, they're going to automatically transfer. Let's give that a little bit of imagery though. So we just created an event using an NPC character. We can see all the actors again and all this, but if we scroll all the way down, we can do this with a whole bunch of stuff. So if I see tile set B, now those decorative set pieces are actually going to take me somewhere I would want to go. Let's see. This looks forest towny enough. Okay, so let's go see what happens right now. And boom, we have our character right here. All right, so we don't have much else going on. Let's look at this map 1 and let's edit that. Let's just go ahead and check autoplay background music. And I don't know. As we see, we get this good list here. Lower the volume down to 20, but we have a nice little background music playing as we go. And we can change the pitch too. Oh, yeah, one note, I will say this in RPG Maker, as I have clearly done in this video. Just go ahead and click in there and hit stop. It won't change this, but it will stop because RPG Maker won't stop playing your music. So that could be rather annoying. All right. Now that we're in here, we've had our character, we've had to interact with an event, and we've just used these 2 commands. We'll get into the others in a second, but maybe we should have a quick test on making sure a fight happens. So let's go into Forest Town. Set that in here and let's just call that battle. All right, I'm going to click in an image and just give it something. Okay, now we have an NPC that's going to, again, trigger by the action button. That looks like them. Now you must fight a goblin or 2. Okay, now what we want to do is we're going to want to click again. Let's go to tab 3. Let's do the battle processing. So this gives us one, and we see that Goblin 2 is already here. We can check can escape or can lose, but let's not for right now. And then the battle processing ends. Let's just go ahead and pre-code something for happening. Let's bring this NPC character back. All right, so what I did now is I just hit enter. So we'll see 2 lines of text appear. Okay. And last, let's just go ahead and let the game end. So on tab 3, we'll just hit game over. All right. It's been short, it's sweet, but we have actually made a first video game to completion. In part two, we're going to go into the database and other managers and character creator just to see how we can go about and change these up. All right, everybody, thanks for watching.